Hey everybody, welcome to week 14. This week we're going to be talking about researching publication guidelines and pitching our work. So I'm doing this week so that you guys have time to finish up your research and start thinking about your drafts, which we're going to be working on next week. So this is kind of an in preparation for that week. So let's just jump right in. We have 2 activities for this week, one due on Friday, which is in place of a regularly scheduled class, and the other will be due next Wednesday. So I hope that you guys are feeling like you're getting into the groove with the online learning. I know every professor does or is doing this differently. So I'm grateful to have all of you guys still on board. Again, email me or set up a Zoom meeting with me if you have any questions about what we're working on. So, okay, let's jump right in. So the first thing that we're going to do is a discussion. And the reason we're doing this is so you guys will have the chance to see not only what your peers are doing, but also to get a little bit of feedback. So it's a more public-facing kind of activity, and then you're going to work on your own pitch after you've had some time to analyze a couple of publications out there. So what we're doing, this is the first activity. This takes place of class, so I'm assuming it'll take 45 to 50 minutes. And what we're going to do this week is you're going to look around to see which magazine, journal, or newspaper might be a good fit for your feature piece. So there are a couple of steps here I kind of want you to go through. So to begin with, I want you to go back to our anthology. The reason is because remember, these pieces represent published articles and features that have been published in a range of places, everywhere from BuzzFeed to Oxford American, to the New York Times Style magazine, to Afar magazine. So there are lots of different places that these things have been published. And so if you look in the table of contents in the front, you can see where the piece was originally published. I also like to look in the back at the notable mentions. There's also a website here that you can also look at. BookFox does an analysis every couple of years of where all the publications are that have made their way into the Best American series. He does not only travel writing, but essay writing, science and mystery writing, sports writing, all those kinds of subgenres of essays. And if you look at that, you can see a list of all of the different places where work was published and how frequently those publications have gotten mentions or inclusion into the anthology. So I think that would be a good place for you to look as well. So once you've kind of picked a publication that you want to learn more about, maybe choose one you've never heard of or one that seems interesting to you, I want you to go to the website. Most places have a website now. Read a few selections and look at what kind of writing style and topic they'd like. So when you're doing this, I encourage you to see if you can find a submissions or contributor guidelines page. This is often a place where you can find out what the editors are actually looking for. Sometimes they'll even link to stories that they particularly like. So I give you an example here of the SmartSet submissions page, and this is kind of what I referenced above. But if you go over to the SmartSet, this is one of the journals that often ends up in the Best American Travel Anthology, if you look at BookFox's list. So this is from their website, the SmartSet, as you can see here. And on their submissions page, they say, okay, we accept submissions and pitches on a rolling basis. So that means they're open all the time for ideas. And they consider excellent and original nonfiction between 1,500 and 3,500 words. And here you can see they take food and travel writing. You can also tell in analyzing this that they also like, or even within the food and travel writing world, they like things that are politically minded, that have a personal bend to them, that have kind of a scholarly way of knowing, that critique some aspect of culture. So I would imagine, if I'm thinking about submitting to this journal, that their food and travel writing would be kind of similar, that it would be a little bit more highbrow, that the audience is probably more well-read, that they like reading long-form nonfiction, and that they're interested in cultural critiques and commentaries. So hence, my listicle on the best 5 places to get a Sonoran hot dog might not fit here, right? So, okay. They also suggest familiarizing yourself with the previously published content, always a good idea. They may take photos and videos if you have it, and then this just tells you how they want your submission to be sent in. So that's what I want you to also look for. So see if you can find the publication guidelines or the contributor guidelines. And then spend some time analyzing what you see on the website. So I have 6 questions that I want you to think about. Which one did you choose and why? What's your first impression of the website? And that's where you can think of like colors, font. Obviously the Smart Set is very minimal. So they're very minimalistic. And even if you go to their homepage, you can see that they emphasize that they are a journal of arts and culture. And so you can see they have very bright colors. They have a very fat sans serif font that's kind of modernist in its appearance. Their images are very minimalist and kind of filtered or drawn over often. And as you can see, they rely very much on those bright colors. So if you go actually up here, you can also look at their different categories. So they have conversations, ideas, journeys, and an archive. So if you click on journeys, you can see some of their travel writing, which I love this website. So I would recommend checking that out if you're interested. Okay, so third, what is the purpose of the site? What do they tend to publish? You can look at a couple pieces and see, what they kind of privilege as far as what they like. Does it appear to be targeted to men or women? Diverse readership? Who reads it? Were you able to find the submissions page? What did you learn? Did they take pitches or drafts? And lastly, would this be a good fit for you, do you think? Why or why not? So based on what you're planning on writing and the research that you've done. So post your response to the 5 questions. Well, actually, there's 6 questions, but one is just, would this be a good fit? Why or why not? Then read and reply to 2 classmates about the publication they analyzed. What did you find interesting or different about the publications they chose? At the end, reply to your original post with a quick couple sentences reflection about what you learned. And so that is our exploratory find a publication activity. And then the last one is activity 2, upload your pitch. This I'm thinking will take 30 to 45 minutes and it's participation credit. So for this, I want you to go back to your proposal, which you submitted in week 12. Then I want you to read this article, which was published on Paste Magazine's website. And this writer talks about kind of the world of freelance writing. So it's kind of an interesting take on things. The one thing I will say, this is a really important line. A writer must make an editor's job easier, full stop, period. So when you're writing a pitch letter to explain your idea, it's kind of like a proposal, but it's more focused than that. So the idea is that a proposal, like you wrote to me, is just sort of a layout of your ideas. A pitch targets that idea to the publication specifically that you're interested in. So this is a really good skill to know how to do, because you could do it for conferences in your majors, or future journals that you're interested in writing for in your field. You don't have to be a travel writer to see the value in this. So what I want you to do is scroll down. So the author here has a section that he calls the format. And the graphs, which is journalism speak for paragraph, had to overwrite all of his bad habits and get to the point in a timely fashion. So this is what I'm saying is like, be concise, be short. So you want to begin with a salutation. If you can find the editor's name, always a good idea. Then there's a first graph, a second graph, a third graph, a fourth graph, and a closing. That's it. So I want you to put together your own pitch letter based on those guidelines. So remember, concision is always better for busy people. Nobody wants to read the whole story just to decide if they like it or not. When you're finished, you're going to upload it to the assignment folder. Okay, guys, have a great week. Enjoy, and I will talk to you soon.